Alright, back with more Bayonetta, and I have brought with me a sick person. That's always a great idea.
Sick mode initiated.
Jesus. This is...
My dear sweet child, fear not, for I am watching over you.
I never like these kind of big, out of this world levels like this, because just like, I gotta do platforming. That's more annoying. Anywho, why don't you just read off that list of hot takes? I sent Armando a list of hot takes, and let's see how they fare. Did I go for it? You gonna go for it? Yeah,
What am I supposed to say?
Like, it literally gives you a list on Skype.
I know, and I'm reading it, and these are all opinion based, so what am I supposed to say?
Read them out loud so we can give our opinion in while recording.
You really want me to read?
Does it look like I'm able to read right now? Fine, another time then. Another time you never. Yes, onwards, dead to... Alright, gotta carry the key. Onward to the Kingdom Hearts Civil War. So here's what happened. You see, people have always had their issues. See, not all Kingdom Hearts games are made equal. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1, you got Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, and also, I believe, also Chain of Memories, made by one team. And then you got Birth by Sleep, Recoded, Different over 2 days, Dream Drop Distance, all made by a separate team in Osaka. Now the Osaka team people made the Kingdom Hearts games differently than the regular team. As if in a way to fix the... So, Kingdom Hearts games have the criticism that the Keyblade combo is the most powerful thing you have, and so you're not really motivated to do anything but press X unless you're on a hard difficulty. So as a result, in their games, they pretty much heavily nerf Keyblade combos in order to emphasize special moves, which in this case are commands, which you equip in a deck, so you equip it as if it were items. Now because of that, this game has no MP, and instead the skills are on cooldowns. Which on paper sounds kind of ridiculous. The fact that your special moves are on cooldown and don't require any sort of meter to use. Oh dear, it's not going well. So instead, what's on the meters? Other skills. Outside the point. What they did, like I said, was try and make regular Keyblade combat less viable. But as a result, what they did was made them not only less viable, they made them downright useless. Using your Keyblade attacks are pretty much useless unless you want to get killed. Because one, the combat's floaty, which is already a trigger word in this Kingdom Hearts Civil War, but it's true, where pretty much your character spends way too much time in the air. In any game, in the action game or fighting game, that's what people compare it to, being in the air too long is bad, because that leaves you viable to take more hits. And taking more hits is bad. So what you want to do is get down to the ground faster, which is something Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 pretty much prioritize. Fuck, get away from me. In a literal sense, get away from me. But anyway, so, because it's in the air too long. So, rather than that, we have special commands. Problem is, because of how the gameplay works, enemies, or specifically bosses, don't stagger much in dream drop distance. If you smack them, they'll be perfectly fine. Which means some special moves that, let's say, do multiple hits would be less effective, or in any case, downright suicidal. Which means you don't want to use those skills. And these issues aren't an issue that you would normally see if you were playing on, let's say, normal mode, right? If you were playing something like hard mode, or critical mode, which is very hard mode, then these issues come to the forefront, where a whole lot of your attack options at Birth by Sleep, which is about customization, because you're able to get a whole lot of skills, a lot of those skills become worthless, because you're too vulnerable while you use them. And if you're too vulnerable, you will die insanely fast. Another issue is the fact that because they're all on cooldowns, you can get abilities that allow you to reduce the cooldown. But you can reduce it so much to where the cooldown becomes almost negligible. And not only that, because you're able to equip your skills, including your cure spell, there's no real penalty to using cure, meaning you can just constantly have cures and constantly keep yourself alive, like it ain't no thing. Because there's no real penalty aside from the cooldown. You got multiple cure spells, who gives a crud? Now, what makes this worse are the endgame bosses, or endgame bosses, specifically being the final bosses or the super bosses. Because those guys, while the ability to stagger them, can become incredibly annoying, which then seems like your only options are to use these skills that are overpowered because they're either super powerful and you don't really gotta do anything to hit them with it, or you're invincible while you use the move, as it does damage. Which would that doesn't really apply any strategy. You're not really thinking about what to do because all you're doing in this case is mashing that dodge button because it keeps you. Because as long as you mash the button, you're invincible, and then pressing triangle. So people who say Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 are press X to win, Burst by Sleep Dream Drop Distance are press triangle to win. Because you're not going to be using your Keyblade, because the Keyblade is made absolutely worthless. And if the Keyblade's worthless, then that means negates the entire button. Now the issue is also with being in the air, because of Birth by Sleep Dream Drop Distance, your character takes a while to fall into the air, and other cases also get this this dash, what they do in the air. The air dash has a problem where it keeps you in the air for too long. Like, here's how it works: you jump, then you dash, then the character spins in the air, and once they go their distance, they lose all momentum and then slowly fall to the ground. Which falling out to the ground slowly is not good because you are viable to be hit. Now, 0.2, which is essentially a tech demo for Kingdom Hearts 3, tries to remedy this by giving you more things to do in the air in order to keep yourself safe. Problem is, more stuff in the air means you're in the air longer, which is what you don't want. So rather than fix the problem, you just try to put a band-aid on it without actually creating a solution. So because of that, that just creates another problem. It's just the same problem. If you're playing on hard difficulty, you will brutally die. You brutally die because anything can just smack you in the back of the head because you are so vulnerable. Once again, these are issues you will mostly dick move. You'll mostly notice when on a hard difficulty. If you're playing normal mode, you probably wouldn't even notice this. The issue people have is, why not keep it more in line with Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, where both sides were happy right in just one? Because some people consider this just being nitpicking. Just being nitpicking, and some people say the fact that, well, Kingdom Hearts is an action RPG and not an action game. Therefore, having the best controls doesn't matter, quote unquote, doesn't matter, because it's action RPG, and RPG aspect comes first. Well, it is true it's RPG first, which is not what's wrong with having good controls. Like, people tell me Nier Automata is an RPG first, and you have to focus on the numbers because you're just trying to fight powerful enemies that you killed. And yet that game didn't decide, oh, that means that's an excuse to have bad action. No, it had good action because it made what you're doing satisfying. Even though it's once again an ARPG. So why can't we have good action? Why still must you settle for something? So it's the issue that has been in several Kingdom Hearts games, several spin-off games, and has never been remedied. Why must the Keyblade be bad? Not only that, another issue comes with some of the attacks, where the whole point of a combo finisher is to do a finishing attack. And Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, some of them were flashy, but when they were flashy, they are also more viable because they actually kept you safe. And if you're safe, you're not worrying about getting smacked in the back of the head. On Birth by Sleep, your Keyblade combos generally don't keep you safe. In fact, keep it more viable for the fact that they want to look cool as opposed to actually be useful. Like even Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers emphasize how they zoom in when we do a finisher because they want it to look cool rather than actually be good for keeping you alive. A spectacle or a substance, as opposed to mending both, which is people's main problem. The reason it's become Civil War is because for some reason, when it comes to the big Kingdom Hearts fans, saying anything bad about any of the Kingdom Hearts games that aren't Chain of Memories or recoded, for some reason means you hate Kingdom Hearts entirely. You hate Kingdom Hearts entirely, even though you can criticize a game and still enjoy it. People still enjoy Birth by Sleep. But just because they can point out issues with the gameplay, suddenly these people are in Super Defense Squad. Like, chill for a second. This is my most hated enemy type in the entire game. I want you to go burn in hell. Like, seriously. Like, freaking, I will say, Dream Drop Distance is a downgrade for Birth by Sleep in multiple factors. But one of the key issues with Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, is how unbalanced the game is. People will always say if you're playing Dream Drop Distance to always use Balloon. Why? Because in Birth by Sleep, you had this skill called Mines. When you upgraded it, not only did you deploy more mines, but they also pretty much homed in on enemies, meaning less work for you. Balloon is like that, but only imagine it being much bigger, and if and it flat out flies to the enemies for you. Damn it. And it flat out flies to the enemies for you, and not only that, it staggers them. Staggering, which something not even your Keyblade can do. Your main offensive weapon being your mother effing Keyblade, this powerful weapon of legends, doesn't do that, but mother effing balloons make enemies flinch like there's no tomorrow. And because it freaking locks on enemies, it means you, the player, you don't have to do anything other than just equip it and just start spamming it. Making every other option in the game, every other ability, this game has a whole bunch of skill trees, and that means nothing thanks to the spell. And all that matters is that you cut the spell and you spam triangle. People like to sell Kingdom Hearts 2 because reaction commands are essentially just one-button QTEs, which is true. But that game is one-button QTEs. Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance are just one-button games. Now, I know what you're saying. Well, Birth by Sleep. But Birth by Sleep, you can't get such overpowered skills off the beginning of the game. Which is true, unless you know how to combine spells properly. In which case, yes, you can break the game super early on. Not only that, some skills you get are RNG based on fusion, which pretty much means you'll probably get them and just get them get the game. Congratulations, GG, game is broken. You have won. And comes to the issue with just bad balancing, where Breath by Sleep specifically has this huge issue with the worlds being unbalanced, where you will go from one world to the next, and all of a sudden the next world, you're somehow completely underpowered. The biggest offense being the Stitch world, where for some reason, despite the fact that you barely get any experience from enemies, they're for some reason way more powerful than you are, and freaking you're dealing on critical mode, you're pretty much dealing chip damage to these people, which is absolutely ridiculous. Lots of you using the Keyblade combos, or using your commands, which clearly the game wants you to, since it emphasizes commands more than anything, then you'll start dealing some, at least, decent damage. But it's still ridiculous. Like, holy hell. And the final boss fights have that issue where they will just be way more powerful than you, unless you grind. Because, once again, it's still a numbers game. But then, if you grind, you'll be way more powerful than them. Like, as Ventus, I couldn't do much against this final boss. So I grinded. And I'm grinding to the point where one of my commands freaking shredded the boss's health like no tomorrow. They had like maybe 2 hits left to their name. And it's like, that's not satisfying though. That's not satisfying though. If I had to grind to the point to where they literally mean nothing, to where they are freaking ant compared to me. Zero Distance made this worse because some boss fights are just ridiculous to the balancing, and they are pretty much either going to be way more powerful than you, or if you use Balloon, like I mentioned, you will destroy them like there's no tomorrow. You'll just annihilate them as if nothing ever, as if they didn't even exist. Which, once again, does that feel satisfying? To either struggle completely because of how unbalanced it is, or use the easy option, but the easy option pretty much just destroys all creativity and fun you can have, because all you're doing is the exact same thing over and over and over. Now that's the problem going on to the Kingdom Hearts fanbase, and that's why they've entered their own personal, where do I go from here? Their own personal freaking civil war. Because now the two sides can't cooperate, because I guess I'm supposed to stand on that, okay. Because each side treats it as if their side is objectively right, and there is no in-between. Even though there is an in-between, but these two people won't agree. And we got a new weapon.
Imagine not respecting someone's opinion.
How about worse? How about asking people for their opinion and then complaining, you guys give me your opinion, I didn't want that, even though you literally asked for it.
Wow.
But don't worry, it gets worse. As soon as after this cutscene where we got a new weapon.
Got my hands on a good one this time. You really get to lay eyes on this one, I tell you what.
We can now strap rocket launchers to our legs. Now there's something about this that makes it OP as all hell, but I don't know how to get the OP ability to work. So good with that, people. Instead, for now, I'll just equip it. Give it to me. That's the shotguns. There we go. That's the wrong weapon set. There we go. That's the shotguns again. I am blind today. It's tragic. I am still winning this freaking mace. Oh, can I climb in this thing? Oh, there we go, there we go. There we know we're not. Okay, there we go. So yeah, now some people are saying that it is unfair to compare Kingdom Hearts 2 to the likes of Dream Drop Distance and Birth by Sleep. Why? The reason being... that apparently it is now unfair to compare a handheld title to that of a console title, which is absolutely ridiculous. Because that means you're saying, by definition, a handheld title must not only have issues, but never fix later issues in later entries. Which sounds ridiculous. And not only that, also the assumption that a handheld title can never be better than a console title, which is ridiculous. Because freaking Devil Survivor is way better than Persona 5 and 4. And you're freaking... That's a handheld title on the DS. Persona 4 is a PS2 game. Persona 5 is a freaking PS3 and PS4 game. So that's just dumb to say. And now, an even dumber one is you can't compare entries of a series to the best entry in the series. That you are asking too much, that you hope for an improvement, that you hope they use the best entry of a game as the base so they can improve upon it and it make something better. Armando, like, you like Metroid Prime. Is Metroid Prime 3, which Metroid Prime game is the best?
I prefer Prime 1.
Now imagine if instead they use Prime Hunters as the base for Prime 4. And you're not allowed to freaking having issues with that because you're not allowed to compare the new game to what you feel is the best game in the series. Because that will be quote-unquote unfair to the new game. Which is the same thing people claim for Resident Evil 5. To where Resident Evil 5, it is not fair to compare RE5 to RE4. Even though it's perfectly okay to do that. Because they're in the same other effing series. Made by the same other effing people. Isn't it like you're comparing two games to two different series? You're comparing the same series. Dang it. If people compare Devil May Cry and Bayonetta because they're the same genre, because they're the freaking same genre, and it turns Devil May Cry 1, the Devil May Cry 1, that makes Devil May Cry 1 and Bayonetta have the exact same director. So it's totally fair to compare the two games. Because of what they're going for. But you're saying I can't compare a Kingdom Hearts game to another Kingdom Hearts game. Or I can't compare Kingdom Hearts 3 to another Kingdom Hearts game. It sounds like you just don't want Kingdom Hearts 3 to be issues of criticism, because criticism, apparently to you, means the hype train has halted, and you don't want no breaks on your hype train. Which doesn't sound like you're just freaking so obsessed with the game that you refuse to even take a second to calm down and think. The same issue people have Fallout 76, where if anyone said any sort of criticism of Fallout 76 before it came out, you were met with, you're just a hater and they're gonna fix all the issues before release. And then they didn't. And people bought that game. And then the GameStop video happened. And it's like, well, people voiced their concerns, and you didn't want to listen to concerns. Like, even the people who played the freaking demo builds at conventions and stuff, even they have told Square Enix how the gameplay is floaty. Let's find the same issues from Dream Drop Distance and Birth by Sleep, mostly because Kingdom Hearts 3 is actually made by the Osaka team, rather than the main team, because people they would have for the main team are busy working on the Whatever Happened in Our Lifetime Final Fantasy 7 remake. And it's like, seriously, people. Seriously. Anywho.